it's also very possible for our pantomime to go a little awry in our learners' heads. So having something visual to put up against the action makes it all that much more clear to our learners. And now we're going to go back to our webinar off my computer. And you should be seeing our first question of how can a single picture support different levels of instruction. And I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to put up a chat pod and just give you a moment to comment on ways that you feel these pictures contributed to instruction. Let me just try and make this larger. It's giving me a little grief. All right, we're going to try another chat pod because this one's really being persnickety. So if you would just talk with each other for 2 minutes, typing in some of the ideas that you saw, something that you would like to share with the group, and then we'll go into the activity types that are part of using visuals in the classroom. And a lot of you are typing at the same time, so it may take a moment for the text to come on up. I'll put on a little music right now so that we can
sunbeams and forgets, and as I wave goodbye, I refuse to shut my eyes. This moment's really all I have.
I'm going to answer Jay Scott's comment. This particular software is used by the teacher in front of the class, and it's actually developed for adults. The Oxford Picture Dictionary Interactive, Patty, is a different technological tool, and that's used by the student. This is what I was showing was a teacher classroom tool that would be used on an LCD projector or a smartboard. The Oxford Picture Dictionary Interactive is the student working together with the computer. I was just looking at Charlotte's request to speak more quietly. Charlotte, I would suggest maybe you just lower your volume on your computer. What I'm going to be doing is copying this chat pod so that everybody will have a chance, and emailing it to you so that everybody will have a chance to see what everybody was thinking. But also, if there are questions on here, then I will add my answers, because I don't want to take all of our time to respond to the questions right now. Also, when our webinar ends on the hour, then I will come back into the room and I will be available for questions for a half an hour after that. So any of you who have any really specific questions, I'd be happy to do that. Okay, Charlotte, no problem. And Nancy, I think the most important thing to remember is that all of these strategies can work with the older dictionaries, and I think that just an awareness of how to use a picture, it could very well be that even with the old dictionaries, your teachers or your students might not be exploiting the picture dictionary beyond thinking of it as a word list and a set of visual definitions. Oh, Julie, that's great. I meant to say hi to you, Julie. Well, I can see that we have a lot more people writing, and what I would like to be able to do is leave this pod up off to the side and continue on so that you're able to continue typing in here if you like, but I want to be able to show you some activities, because while the presentation aspect of pictures is a very important one, the meat of a multi-level class is really when we get our learners into the synchronous groups and they start to see that what they have been exposed to on a comprehension and knowledge level, they can actually then start to apply, synthesize, and analyze all of those good higher level Bloomian things. So let's talk about how can learners work effectively in synchronous same level groups. And as you're writing your questions in this chat pod over here, I promise that we will address them, either if not when we close the webinar and come back, or when I send it to you via email. So one of the things that we want our learners to do is to work in same level groups. I just spoke with a high school teacher today who was very concerned about low task persistence that comes out of a sense of for lack of a better word, failure within the class setting, because perhaps a low-level learner doesn't feel that they are at the same level as the other students in the class. So we want to make sure that our learners get a chance to work with their peers at their own level to build their accuracy. And here are a number of ways that we can do that. We can have learners work on peer dictation, low-level learners just dictating words to each other. But in the course of that dictation, we find that learners do a lot of work with negotiating meaning and spelling and clarifying. We can have them do categories. Categories allows learners at all different levels to think in terms of what's been presented, and it's a higher level thinking skill to analyze language and then categorize it. So let's take weather, for example. My lowest level learners could be categorizing good weather, bad weather. My higher level learners could be categorizing clothes that you wear in cold weather or hot weather. Maybe that's my mid-level. My higher level group could be looking at what are the pluses and minuses of hot weather and cold weather, so that takes it even a step above. With roundtable writing and roundtable labeling, the learners are actually working with the vocabulary, and I'll show you an example of that, at their own level. So learners that are at a higher level would be writing sentences. Learners that are at a lower level would be writing at the word or phrase level. Leveled listening is a terrific tool. It allows you to have one audio and multiple listening tasks, and that's part of the Picture Dictionary lesson plans. So you have a CD in the lesson plans, and you have a CD with worksheets, and your low-level learners get one task, mid-level learners another, higher-level learners another, and you play the exact same audio, but at that point, all the learners are doing something different based on what they're hearing. And then, of course, there's charades with all kinds of opportunities for working with picture cards, or asking and answering questions based on what the students are doing or what people are doing within the picture. I'd like to show you an example of a round table. This is a round table that I've actually taken the pictures from the Picture Dictionary software, and I was just able to pop these pictures right into my PowerPoint, but I could also pop them onto a Word document. And the lesson plans, I'll just give you a quick heads up that the lesson plans are part of the Oxford Picture Dictionary program. It's a separate entity, and I'll show you the program at the very end of the webinar. But here, this paper would go around the group, and each student would take turns labeling the words he or she sees in the image. So in this case, they're at the word level. But if I go to roundtable writing, the students are writing different sentences that would allow the students to pass that paper around, but still create a unified paragraph about the picture that they're seeing. There are samples of the listening activities on the Oxford Picture Dictionary website. There are samples of all of the materials